Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Dejan from Panaton. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for giving us the time. I know you're a busy person, being the founder and chairman of Panaton. Really want to thank you for giving us the time. Good to have you
It's a
on today.
pleasure.
Yep, yep.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, thank you. Well, let's kick it off. I know you're really busy, so tell us a little bit more about your company in your own words. What is it all about?
Uh, we are a software engineering firm primarily, even though we do dabble in some hardware projects in consumer electronics and semiconductor design. But essentially, we are a boutique outsourcer. Um, uh, we focus on more challenging, kind of more, technical projects, trying to carve out a niche for ourselves and differentiate from, what some may consider commodity services for very large organizations worldwide. We're kind of a little bit been around a little bit longer, and for us, a full stack starts with custom hardware and drivers for it, and ends up with a sort of internet scale systems rather than MongoDB and JavaScript.
All right, that's good to hear. So then, so that everyone that is listening can get a good understanding of your company, what problems do you solve for your clients, Dejan?
We range from anything from loyalty systems, uh, some sales operations and optimizations, through again things like electronic design automation and healthcare. Uh, with the recently, obviously since the COVID years, there's been a lot of emphasis on digital health, at-home healthcare services, and direct-to-consumer medical testing. And so those are all areas that we have been involved in or are involved in currently.
Awesome. So, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of industries that you could hit with your company, but is there specific industry focus areas that you guys like to go for, or is it just more of a grand scale?
Oh, certainly healthcare is one area that we're very much focused on right now. Another area that we have a lot of experience is probably very much relevant to what Pathmonk does is automotive sales. Over the years, we've done a lot of work with car dealerships, and it's a very cutthroat business. Very important to capture client attention and not let them leave the site until they can get engaged with the salesperson. So we have, I would say, non-trivial experience in that area as well.
Definitely. Well, yeah, I would agree with that. I'm looking here for Panaton on the website. It like the website, like the design. What would you say as far as for you as the founder or the marketing? What is the top client acquisition channel for you guys there at Panaton?
Uh, Certainly referrals, but the website and the digital content is, very, very important. You need to make sure that people that have a need can find references to that need or or similar solution that you have provided in the past to really engage, because it, better than me of how much content is out there and how difficult it is to distinguish apples from oranges sometimes.
Definitely. All right. Now I am, like I mentioned, I am here on Panaton.com. It's a gorgeous looking website. What do you think is the major strength of your website? Would you think it would be the ability to convert visitors, quality of the leads, the user experience?
uh, well, hopefully we've hit the right tone in being credible but also slightly non-conformist and maybe marginally abrasive in some of the things we say. I know if you scroll to the front page, you'll find a rather snarky statement about low code, no code development, for example, which is probably contrary to many people's wishes. But we stand behind the reality.
Definitely. Well, that's a nice way of looking at it, right? See what's going on. I do want to switch gears a little bit then. Now, Dayon, I do want to learn about you as a leader, right? As a founder. What are your key tasks you focus on your day-to-day work?
Well, in our business, people are the critical component. Certainly, understanding the verticals you're servicing and the technology space and applying technology to build solutions to your clients is what you're in business for. But your raw material, the thing that moves your business are people. And so understanding and motivating your staff and creating a environment in which there's innovation, but also productivity and balancing people's personal lives with their professional goals is probably over time, what you spend most time on.
That's great to hear. So, I mean, in your free time, if you do have any, Dejan, what is a book that you could recommend, or what was the last book that you read, Dejan?
Recently I came across a book called First Ask Why. Simon Simnona, I forget the author's name. And that was interesting. It had many things that I agree with and embrace, and of course, certain things that were not quite in line with my current belief system in terms of management. But that was interesting. It talked a lot about fundamental reasons of doing business rather than just worrying about selling more widgets to more people.
Hmm.
And that is in line with my experience as well. To be successful, you need to present a bigger picture and a slightly more sort of fundamental reason to start your workday rather than just getting a paycheck every 2 weeks.
That's true. So, Dejan, if you could focus in one thing that Panaton is focusing on at the moment the most, what would that be?
Uh, in terms of technology or in terms of operating the business?
I would say in operating the business, or what would you say if it was the other way around? Which one would you per? What do you think is the focus moment? I mean, for you particularly.
Uh, the focus for me is twofold: to grow the business in an area of vertical specialization. Currently, our focus is on healthcare. And
Mm,
so one of the things that we do is we are generalists that dive deep, right? I sometimes argue that I really don't care about full stack developers. I don't think
mm,
that such a thing exists. Actually, that's a different conversation. What I care about is people who describe themselves as deep diving generalists, meaning they have a lot of experience across different types of projects, but they have the propensity to dive really deeply, not just in technology, but also understanding the business problems that they're working on. And so, as such, we really try to understand the as much detail of what we're dealing with, not just writing, a piece of software that does A as the specification called for, but understanding how does A uh, support the business of the client. What does it take to actually operate it and maintain it? Is it going to be worth the money they're spending on it? And we've been known to tell clients, we'll be happy to take your money, but we really shouldn't do this.
def-
And that's worked well for us. So healthcare, as you well realize, is an enormous portion of the US GDP, and
mm.
there are staggering inefficiencies. It's just mind blowing in terms of how technology is applied and just administration, and then the whole uh, you know revenue cycle management system and payments. It's there are tremendous opportunities. And I think that we're coming to an inflection point where technology will start making a significant difference as people are seeing faster, better ways to provide better healthcare for less resources by applying technology.
All right, good, great to hear. Well, Dejan, I know you have a degree in computer engineering, so I gotta ask. I want to ask about this. If there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing you would want to have fixed for your role today?
Marketing.
All right.
And I will tell you why I said that. You know the old joke slash truism that says, after all is said and done, more will be said than done.
Yep.
Well, I experienced that in the last 10 years, probably mostly in cybersecurity. The ratio of PowerPoints to actual meaningful technology is very high. It continues to be high. There's a great deal of misunderstanding what a proper investment in cybersecurity means versus just checking the boxes and looking at it as sort of a black box rather than from a real business risk assessment point of view. Similarly, today, we're experiencing the whole hype cycle of AI, right? Um, and when I say I would like to fix marketing is, to always recognize the difference between technology that is looking for a problem to solve and technology that is a solution to an existing problem. And those differentiators, if we can build our marketing and messaging campaigns to be a little more honest and a little more precise in the value that they offer to anyone in need for a solution, I think we'll be all better off.
Awesome, great to hear. Yep. I mean, you have all the experience, so I do kind of on a question hand to hand to what you were mentioning. What is that one repetitive task that you could automate? What would that be?
uh, Keeping my website current or our websites current for suddenly will be right on top of the list. Believe me. Even we're all benefiting from uh, ChatGPT and Bard and Llama and all those things today to crank out content. At the end of the day, placing it in the right place at the right time with the right tags in the right media channel and social media channel, with the right info board and story and graphic and quote, and this is the very repetitive, and at the same time, something that we just have to do.
Interesting, interesting. Yep, I like that. Well, Dejan, what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself? I know you have a lot of experience. I mean, you've been a founder, you're a CTO, but what is that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a straight out of college? What would that be?
Or straight out of college, straight out of college, things are so random.
Yeah.
It's really, kind of being right place, right time, one-eyed man in the land of the blind kind of thing. It's really what, sometimes boils down to. I must admit that I can't claim to be somebody who has carefully constructed their professional and career path from day one. I kind of fell into early on in doing an IPO in a public market, actually in real estate, and then moved to the Bay Area and started doing the Silicon Valley startup two-step for the rest of my career. And so I wouldn't I would struggle to tell you some advice to the young me differently from what I went through. But if you ask me for any sort of grand advice, I would say do fewer projects, better capitalized.
All right.
Because again, I'm involved in many startups, some entrepreneurial things. A lot of the success and failure of any one startup really is a matter of staying power and weathering the cycles and the whole, hype through operations curve. And so, and I learned this early on, had some great advice from people I greatly respect in the business that told me, always find the problem before you try to solve it. Some would, more cynically say sell it before you build it.
Yep.
But that's a very sound advice. And then when you commit, make sure that you have the resources to execute and to be able to weather failures and adjustments that you will make in the process. So that's a hard thing to learn for an entrepreneur, and especially young entrepreneur and young startup people. We tend to try to win every time, and that's just not reality.
Yeah, I think that, yep. I would agree with that last statement. We try to win all the time, right? But well, Dejan, thank you so much for coming to the end of the show here. But I do want to give you the last word, Dejan. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about your company?
Um, well, okay. Uh, in the last 2 years, 7 of our clients for which we have built uh, software platforms that they operate their businesses on have either exited or raised money and not on down rounds.
Awesome. Well, guys, everyone who's listening to us, thank you so much for tuning in to Pathmonk Presents episode here with Dejan from Panaton. Thank you so much for giving us some time, Dejan.
You're very
And for
welcome.
everyone, stay tuned for our next episode. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye bye.